Hello, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. My name is David James. We are here with Bridging the Gap. We are a local producer. We are not part of PAC 14. We use this platform to bring forth information, but once again, the information we bring forth is not the thought and feeling of PAC 14. We do appreciate them allowing us to use this as our avenue of bringing forth information, and we hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome back to Bridging the Gap. We are here with Kenisha Nicole, who's running for school board in District 7. Welcome back, welcome back. We want to talk about mentorship. And you are a mentor, correct?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been doing that?
In the school system, this is year 3, but I would say well over 10 years.
10 years? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How and where do you find your inspiration?
I find my inspiration through myself. Being someone who was teased in school myself, someone who has seen things, heard things, and gone through things myself, I feel like I am the perfect person to be an advocate and to be that bridge between the school system and the student and the parent.
Okay, okay. What values are you committed to, and how have they changed since you first started mentoring?
The values I'm committed to is teaching self-love to our youth. Our youth sometimes don't necessarily know their own personal worth. So when I'm mentoring, I am really big on teaching my youth, whether they're a queen or they're a king, and if their crown is crooked, that they need to fix it. They can tell you that. Because if I see them out in public, I'm going to be like, something's crooked. And they know they need to fix their crown so it stays straight. But I also am a firm believer of letting them know that even if their crown is crooked, that it can be crooked, but it's okay. But we just have to learn how to fix it.
I like that. Now, has that changed any way, or your what you're committed to? Has that changed any over the years of mentoring?
No, I never change. I'm really big on what I do. I may change with society or the student itself, but I never change in how I mentor. Like I said, I'm really big on self-love and empowering the children themselves because, one, I'm not in the home with them and I cannot stay in the school system with them. So if I can teach them self-love within, then I feel like I'm teaching them something. And I always say if I'm teaching one, I'm teaching two. Because if I can teach one to love themselves and to learn to make sure that their crown is fixed every day, then I'm teaching another one. They can pass that on to another student or another family member or even their own parent or teacher.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Now, as a mentor, and this can be a tough one here, okay? As a mentor, what is your biggest fear, and have you overcome it?
One of my biggest, I would say, one of my biggest fears, I would say I really don't have many because I try not to look at things that way. But I would definitely say is losing a mentee. And I have dealt with hearing some of those things in the school system. So also being someone who has tried myself, I'm really big on making sure that the students make sure that, like I said, self-love and empowerment, so they know their worth and they know that they have somebody. And some of the mentees and parents know they have my number. They call me. We're on the phone sometimes at night. They text me and to let them know, like, hey, I feel like talking to mom right now, so let me call Miss Kenisha or let me text Miss Kenisha.
Good. That's good. So, overcoming your fear, how did you overcome it?
Continuing the work. As long as I continue the work, I feel like I'm getting to the child. So as long as I'm continuing the work to make sure that I'm doing what I say that I'm loving to do, which is loving on the children and making sure I'm empowering them with self-love and teaching them their self-worth and working on their mental health and their safety within and making them feel comfortable, then I feel like I'm still going to continue to do the work so they don't lose, and also advocate for them, whether it be with their parent or within the school system.
That's good. That's good. Why did you decide to become a mentor?
Because I realized within myself that not every child has someone. And if I can be that someone, I don't mind. I do not mind being that someone. Like I said, they have my number. Their parents have my number. The students have my number. So if they can call me and say, hey, I feel like this today. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like some of my mentees that even have graduated already still call me. Like call me on Christmas Eve, and we have long conversations.
Okay, so it doesn't just end.
No, it does not end. My mentoring does not end when they graduate. It still continues. Like I still have pictures. I still have pictures and take my mentees places when they need to. They're adults now, so they need help with finding jobs and things of that nature.
That's good.
I stay in their lives. I'm also been invited to a wedding, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the treat of working with people. Now, so your end goal when you're mentoring, what's the end goal of those relationships?
The relationship between me and the student, or the relationship
or whoever you're mentoring, yeah. Most of the time they are students, so.
So the end goal I would say that I have is to truly, as I repeat, is to make sure they know self-love, because that carries on into adulthood. So when you learn self-love, you're learning that I need to take care of myself. I need to work. I don't need to depend on anybody. Not necessarily that they don't need to be dependent, but teaching them to depend on themselves first and then go ask for help. How to try and define their walk of life and where they are within themselves in life, and just learning to work on themselves. It's a really big thing for me to teach them to love themselves, and self-love is a big thing for me, and I preach that like wherever I go, whether you're an adult, a student, and if my end goal is to teach them to love themselves and to be empowered within, then I can teach them I can walk out and I may be able to help the next person, or what is your goal? And I'm not afraid to tackle that goal because I have self-love within, and I'm not scared. And Miss Kenisha said, I need to fix my crown so I can walk out there and do that, and they can remember that.
I like that. Now, what is your strongest character trait, would you say?
I'm myself.
Just being you?
Yes, I don't change for nobody. You get what you get.
Okay, on the flip side of it, what is your weakest?
What is my weakest trait? My health. Mentally, I deal with a lot with my health, so sometimes it could take me back a couple steps. Even though I teach self-love, I still battle my own trauma. So with my health, like with mentally, physically, and emotionally battling fibromyalgia and Crohn's disease, or the two, and my health and the way that I have to eat, they're really testy. So, and doing it holistically. So trying to make sure that I do what I need to do to focus on myself so I can still be there for my children. But not only for my children, but I have to be there for myself first in order to be there for my children as well as my mentees and everyone else that I'm involved with.
So your strongest character trait and your weakest character trait, how can that help the person you're mentoring? How you're dealing with yours help them to deal with theirs?
With my weakest one, if you do follow me on social media, I'm a very open, honest person. I love working out, and I love doing things holistically to tell people and help people and find their way within themselves to do things that help them. So I would say they work and mesh together well, because I'm still pushing forward, because I'm proving myself with self-love. I'm proving that it's okay. I've gained weight. I'm at a stable weight right now, so I'm still working out. Most people with my illnesses do not still work out or go through the things or do the things that I'm doing. I have my own personal goals, so my self-love, my empowerment within. So me battling my health conditions and then still teaching self-love, they see that. I have not gave up.
Now, what was your strongest?
My strongest one.
Which is being yourself. So how can you teach them to be themselves, and how that can help them?
They see it. Like I said, I'm myself wherever I go. So even when I'm with the kids, I love on them, and I do not change when I see them outside of the school. Even if they see me with my children, they see me in the school system, I do not change. So they see that I am a person that is like, I'm there. I'm not fake. I'm not phony. I am who I am, and you get what you get. And if I'm going to advocate for you, I'm going to advocate for you, and I'm going to go hard for you. And if I'm going to love you, I'm going to love you. And that's just what I do. And you see it within myself because I love myself.
And you're genuine.
And I am very genuine. I'm very authentic. So you get what you get. Like I said, me being me is just, you have no choice but to see it.
Okay, and last question, thank you. Last question in this mentoring category would be, how do you establish your work and life harmony?
My work and life harmony is community. So what I do and what I have tried to do with myself and my own personal endeavors is everything involves what I love to do, which is helping people and loving on people. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Okay, now we're going to be coming back in a little bit when we talk about this mentorship. We're going to be bringing in Bishop Dickerson. As you know, he works a lot with young people and with a lot of people actually that deal with emotional problems before they get to the school system. So I think he'll definitely be a good professional on that. So thank you, and we're looking forward to talk to you about your campaign.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are. We are back here on Bridging the Gap, and we're back talking about mentorship, and we're here with Jennifer Dickerson.
Yes.
Now, we're talking to you on mentoring. How long you been mentoring?
My whole entire life, actually. I think I've always had a passion for young people. Even when I was young, I think the Bible says that many are called, but few are chosen. But I've always felt like I was chosen. So the gift of help. So the thing is if I see a need, no matter how big or how small, and I'm capable of meeting it, then that's what I'm gonna be. So that's what mentors do.
Okay, and it's kind of like you looking at my question. So let me look over here.
I don't know.
How and where do you find inspiration? You basically answered it right then, but
Absolutely, like just being able to see a need, but how I find inspiration. A lot of it is music. Music is inspiration. People may not believe this about me, but I'm actually an introvert. You know, so in my quieter times, you know, a lot of times, and actually from my pain, I have been the most inspired because I am always looking for opportunities. So I want to take an obstacle and turn it into an opportunity. I want to take pain and turn that into power. I think that's kind of like my superpower. I've been like that my whole life.
Okay. Well, what values are you committed to, and how have they changed since you first started mentoring?
Ooh, again, values is about presence and time. Since the loss of my mom, time has become very valued. So that's something that has now come to the top. But a lot of the values is showing up, being able to be a resource for people. I'm a veteran in the school system, just under 15 years, but being able to let parents know how they can stand up for their kids, let kids know how they can stand up for themselves, be that liaison between that and how the schools are a benefit to them, how the school system could help get them where they need to be. But outside of that, I would say my value has been the same as, like, if there's a need, just being able to meet the need. And
has that changed?
No, because that's always going to be it, because people don't know what they don't know. I think that has been one of the things that happened with me, is like I didn't know to ask because I didn't even know that was a possibility to ask. So my thing is being able to be transparent, being able to be honest. Those are things I think are values, because if that's the case, then you can help the next person, because so many times the situation gets fluffed. So I don't want people to be misinformed. So I want to give them, honesty and transparency.
Thank you. Now, this is going to be one of the tough ones for the person that's the mentor to say, but what is your biggest fear?
Well, my biggest fear is that as being a mentor, dealing with people, is that people will put me in compromising positions that could damage my character or who I am. It's been a couple of close calls, so those are the fears that I have, because sometimes either people can be jealous and they'll attack that, or any way to try to bring you down. I just don't want my character to be compromised. So that's my biggest fear.
Have you been able to overcome it?
Oh, absolutely. That's by educating yourself. One of the things that I have learned, especially in being in HR, is that the policies that are created have gray areas, and the gray areas are primarily developed so that it benefits the corporation. But for people who don't read, for people who don't do research, you can understand that gray area can still benefit you. But for most people, when they present that information, they don't necessarily know how they can fight back. So there is a gray area, and that's the stuff that I want people to understand, that gray area is beneficial on both sides, but you got to be willing to put in the time. You got to be willing. So I've been able to overcome it because where they said that people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
So my whole thing is to get in that book. So policies, procedures, like get in the book and educate yourself.
Like that. Why did you decide to become a mentor?
I decided to become a mentor because I understand firsthand what it means to have that one person. I was at a very dark place, and I just was screaming out, like, if somebody would just hear me, if somebody would just see me, if somebody could just be there. Now, that's what I was thinking, but that wasn't coming out of my mouth, you know, so I'm going to church and I'm shouting all over the place, but I'm dying internally, like, and everything is happening around me, you know, and I wanted to end it all, but I understand that one person, the power that one person to show up in the moment that the plan is out, and I was going to execute it to the T, but heaven rerouted them to come and save me that time, and that was the moment that I knew that God said my story wasn't over. So if God did that for me, then I want to make sure that every child that is experiencing that, even if it's not as extreme as mine was, to know that that one person is there to help carry them through whatever it is. So that's what inspired me to become a mentor.
Love that. Love that. That was a great answer there. Well, what are your end goals with the relationship you build with the person you're mentoring?
One, that I become a trusted individual. I want them to know that they don't have to do life alone. One of the things that I am seeing and finding in most kids is that they feel like they don't have the courage to ask for help, or that they don't have the courage. They don't want to be viewed as like they don't know. So my whole thing is to be that individual that they can at least come to and be able to ask for what they need, even if they can't clearly articulate it. Okay. Wow. All right. So for yourself, what is your strongest character trait? Me? For mentoring.
Or just entirely, what is your strongest characteristic or character point? Yeah.
Well, I would say it's both my strength and my weakness. Is I work well under pressure, but a lot of times when under pressure, I don't necessarily always take time for me. So so that becomes an kryptonite for me, but it's definitely my greatest value is that, like, under pressure, I have an ability to still be able to process quickly, to be able to think and problem solve in the heat of the moment. Not everybody can do that, but I do know sometimes that at that point, then I'm always giving, that ends up getting me to burn out.
So it can also be your weakest.
Absolutely.
You actually answered both parts of that question together. You're good at doing that. So my last question, before we actually have your dad come in and along with Kenisha and you all talk together, is how do you establish a work and life harmony? So you don't get burned out.
The one thing that I'm initiating this year is balance. The balance of that is planning. So a lot of times is understanding what is prioritized and then what can be delegated. So I'm a person, I don't want to say controlling, but I do like to control situations and circumstances. What I can control, I do like to control, but I do have to understand that sometimes you got to let the ball drop. In order for you to find where you can make improvements, you got to let the ball drop. But one thing about it is just being able to delegate. You can't control it all, and you can't do it alone. So my thing is like, what is for you, and what is something you can delegate? Where is this at? So I am learning to strategically plan this year and like plan things out, because then when you can look back, you can definitely see that I've accomplished this or overcome this because it's been planned out.
And I understand how you don't want to say the word controlling, because even when dealing with my wife, she's not controlling, but she's got everything in place.
That's it.
It's just the right pattern. God made you all that way, so that's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you again, and I'm looking forward to this next part in this mentoring, and looking forward once again to see what happens in the future for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. My name is Bishop J. Anthony Dickerson, and I'm so excited to have with me Miss Kenisha, and that is running for school board She's running for school board, and my wonderful daughter is joining us, Miss Jennifer Dickerson, Miss Salisbury. All right, and so we're talking today about the importance of mentorship, and these wonderful ladies they're definitely excellent mentors in our community, and one of the things that we need mentors. So I'm just going to ask you ladies just a couple of questions. What is your background and what inspired you to start mentoring youth? So either one of you can go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
My background for mentoring is, let's see, I've been mentoring for the school system for 3 years, but well over 10 years with the youth, with my son and other kids in the community, with myself at least with mentoring. The background involves a lot of love and guidance and mental health and self-love and empowerment. So.
Excellent.
My background, I've worked in the school system. I've been a youth leader. I've always been drawn to like helping others and serving. It came from or stemming from having mentors for me, or just having one person to like change my life in a dark moment. So that's what inspired me to do it. So I wanted to be that for other students or people.
Yep. So what obstacles did both of you face on your path to becoming a mentor, and how did those experiences shape who you are today?
Obstacles.
Yeah. Obstacles, life.
Yeah.
Obstacles. Life obstacles that I've faced. I was bullied when I was younger for being skinny, just the way that I looked, and just different things. So some of those obstacles can have you mentally backtracking and thinking to yourself, like, do I matter? Do I care? So me being able to tell other students and my mentees in any kind of way that they matter and that they care and that someone cares for them is a really big part of an obstacle that I have dealt with within my life. I have a lot of different obstacles that I can speak on when it comes to being a mentor, and things that I can definitely relate to, whether it be a parent or the student or what their life situations are. I've definitely dealt with them, so I'm definitely relatable, and I can tell the students that, hey, I've been there, done that. I get it. Let's work through it.
Right.
So life is an obstacle. I mean, let's just put that on the table.
Yeah.
But our outlook on life will show how we're able to overcome it. But the same thing with her. Like I was dominated as a church girl because I came from a Pentecostal background, so they didn't believe in wearing pants. So of course, going to school wearing dresses all the time. I was also bullied, called a little church girl and things like that. And although I was very confident in who I was, that still can kind of hurt, and kind of like, as being a kid, it kind of shapes your outlook on life, especially if this is what you're told to do, but it doesn't seem like you fit in. So I was one that never fit in, so that became an obstacle, because everything that I tried to do to fit in somewhere, somehow, I always got the back end of it, or the bad end of the stick, is what they say. So that's how I ended up literally turning that obstacle into opportunity, so I can be there as a relatable person to let somebody know that I'm here. I felt alone in a lot of situations, so I just don't want people that I mentor to feel like they have to do life alone.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you guys share your experiences, because in order to be an effective mentor, you got to be relatable. And if you're not relatable, if you can't relate, then they're gonna lock you out. They're gonna shut down. They're gonna tune you out.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So, can you share a memorable story or a moment from your mentoring journey that deeply impacted you or your mentee?
Yes. Okay. So I'll speak of one of my mentees. I know she won't mind. Shout out to Bree. She has graduated already, and I would say a memorable moment for me is, I know me and Bree, we struggled. Not necessarily like vibing with each other. We clicked automatically, but I know life was a little challenging.
Yeah.
And that girl still calls me. She still talks to me. She still vibes with me. I'll go pick her up. We'll go do things now that she's graduated. So for me, for me to be able to keep that experience, and that means I'm keeping that longevity, letting her know that someone still cares, letting her know that someone is still there for her, letting her know that she's heard my obstacles, she knows everything that I've been through, and now that she's an adult, we've had other conversations versus the conversations you have in the school system, but now that she's an adult and we can literally converse as two adults, she gets it and she understands. And I love the fact that she feels comfortable calling me and checking on me and texting me when she feels some type of way, like, hey, and I'm like, hey girl, like, I love it. So that's one of the biggest things that I love, and also just taking kids under my wing and just saying, hey, I also love when I get, hey Miss Kenisha, or now it's hey Miss 6'7", but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So mine has been a little bit more recent, and the recent loss of my mom.
Right.
So I give and give and give all the time, give to these kids, show up, all these different types of things. But one of the things is when I lost my person, my mentor, there was something in me that was snatched it.
Right.
So one of the hardest obstacle leading to this story was trying to stay motivated. So knowing all the energy that I put into it is trying to stay motivated. So all of the seeds that I planted, my mentee, my captain, she was one to send me text messages, let me know that just how much she needed heart and soul, and the kids right now, like, they need you, they need you, they need the program. And so in moments when I was not motivated, she was like, I just need you to show up, okay? I just need you to show up. You can be an adult here and you can manage the space. I will take over practice so that we make sure that we can keep this in motion. So when you talk about somebody being the wind beneath your wings, she has definitely been that. So that has been so touching to me, because in those moments of weakness, she became my strength.
Yeah, and grief has a way of doing some weird things. Just when you think that you're doing good and you're able to accept it and deal with it, it starts all over again.
Yeah.
And really nobody can determine when you stop grieving.
Nobody can determine when you start grieving.
Time limit, how it shows up.
I feel like a lot of people also, when it comes to grief, we only think of grief when someone's passing, but we don't think of grief when someone loses a job or a setback or something like that. So when it comes to mentoring, and we can teach our youth how to get over grief in those situations, I feel like that helps. And you having your mentee underneath your wing, being your wind, is a way of helping show her the things that she's has grieved. You know what I mean? And she's like, you know what? Let me just be this wind real quick. You know what I mean? And we don't talk about that a lot either. We only talk about the grief of losing a loved one.
Yeah. And in the life of young people, they've and some of them, they live in a very traumatic situations where they lost someone that they really love, whether it be a granny or whether it be pop or whether it be their mother, whether it be a best friend. So that's kind of hard. And that leads me to my next question. What is your approach when connecting with young people, and how do you build trust and rapport?
I'm myself. Literally, I am myself. I am Miss Kenisha. So when I come, I will let you know I am Miss Kenisha. One of the biggest things that I tell people is like, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, we're going to use y'all's layman terms. So I'm coming to help you learn how to clock your own tea and help you not crash out. And they're like, oh, I want you to mentor me. Like, you got to be relatable to these students. And I say it all the time. It is 2025.
Right.
I know that things have... You're right. It's 2026. You are so right. Thank you. It's 2026. So being that it's 2026, it is no longer 1945. It's not 1965. It's not even 1985 anymore. We cannot continue to use the same tactics we used back then when we have different challenges and different technology and different things going on in society right now, and think that that's going to work. We have to be relatable to the students, and we have to be relatable to the parents and society as a whole in order to get to them. And those kids know that I love them and I am myself, regardless whether I see them in the school system or outside of the school system. I never change.
Yeah, and I have a saying, and Jennifer, Jennifer probably know what I'm getting ready to say. You can't use 8-track tape methods in the digital age.
No.
Absolutely.
You can't.
No.
You can't do it.
No.
How about you, Jen?
What was the approach?
What is your approach when connecting with young people, and how do you build that trust and rapport?
So mine is definitely meeting them where they are,
Yeah,
like
there you
right,
go.
right where they are, not expecting them to be here, not expecting, but right where they are, and then be able to build from there. Transparency, honesty, because my thing is, I really believe that we lead by example.
Yep.
So how I show up for them, usually how they show up back, but you gotta meet the need.
Yep.
So my thing is, if you meet the need, one thing is if basic needs are met, then kids know how to thrive. They know how to show up. So I'm like Kenisha, like I am me, because I know that if I'm me, I don't have to worry about taking off no mask. I don't have to worry about trying to figure it all out. So my whole thing is like, I've had slip ups, saying things out of line, and understanding that their behavior is a form of communication, and being able to understand, like, when they do crash out, that sometimes it is a body's natural response. Like, so when they're in adrenaline mode, this is scientific, y'all, this is education, so this is some of my background. But when the adrenaline kicks in, you're either gonna fight, flight, freeze, so whatever your body's natural response, you gotta know to do the opposite to bring yourself back to a baseline. So just understanding that even if that happens, is trying to give them tools and things and methods that they can get them back from doing things, because children are already underdeveloped in so many areas, emotionally, mentally. So a lot of times their erratic behavior, sometimes it's just in that moment. So we want to be able to give them, as mentoring, give them as many tools as possible, give them enough tools that they have more than one option on how to get back to a baseline.
Oh, perfect.
This is definitely, I love that. I do love that.
Yep.
So vibing off of what you just said, like when you're yourself and we're mentoring of these children, just like you said, meeting them where they are, and them not knowing how to use their emotions. They're young. I'm 40. Half the time, sometimes we don't know how to use our own emotions when things happen. So they're younger than we are, and they don't know what to do. So that fight or flight and freeze mode, that's what they're going to do. But if we can teach them to love themselves or be themselves, like we said, and we come as ourselves. Well, Miss Jennifer comes as herself. So what am I supposed to do? Be myself.
Yep.
So it helps them be able to take that out into society when something happens. You know what? What happened? Let me just pause real quick. What do I want to do? How do I feel like I need to handle this situation right now? What would Miss Jennifer do? What would Miss Kenisha do? Hold
themselves accountable, like understanding that mistakes happen, and I let them know that with mistakes that you have an opportunity to right the wrong sometimes. So like, okay, all right, we that you got that, you got that one, but how we gonna do things differently next time? So but in this time, how can we right it? So being accountable, and those things are transparent, because I let them know the times that I ain't handled things to right. And I mean, 41, like when grief shows up and it comes in the form of anger. Listen, I got right a lot of wrongs.
And you got to keep it real. With young people, you got to keep, because they can recognize when you're fake.
They do.
They can see through you.
Yes, they will. They will tell you.
And that's why you have to meet them. You can't come off like you better than, and that your stuff don't stink.
I say it in the school system when I'm advocating. We cannot meet these children with aggression and think that they're not going to give you aggression. If you meet these children with constant referrals, constant bashing or lack of, what do you think you're going to get? What kind of grades do you think you're going to get? If you meet them with love, you're going to get love.
That's right.
Because it's something they're not used to, and you can see that when you're dealing with mentees sometimes. When we're dealing with the students, like you could tell some of the children that don't get, not that they don't get love, but sometimes they lack love in different places that
they're needed.
That there's a need, and sometimes they just need that encouragement. Somebody, like their parent may they love them to pieces. They just don't have that time, and they just don't have that effort because they're working. So who steps in? People like me and Jennifer to give them that little slight bit of love, that little nudge, and go, "We love you. We here for you. We gonna show up at this event, or make sure we're here to pick you up, or be there for you and do this for you." And sometimes they just need that.
Here's my final question. What advice would you give to parents? Because parents play a pivotal role in the life of their children. What advice would you give to a parent and really dealing with their son or their daughter, and so forth? And then we're going to close with this question.
Conversation, I would definitely say stay active in conversation. And what I mean by staying active is I know like parents work. I know sometimes they don't have the time, but we all have phones. If your child has a phone, it is okay. And I tell some of my mentees and their parents, make sure you're at least, I know you may be having issues or some things, like still be there. Like, you may have an out, but still be there. Just text them, I love you. You know, every morning, I love you. Make it something that they remember. So even though you may not have the best relationship at the time or whatever relationship you do have, you know that mom or dad or whatever your guardian or whoever is taking care of you is still there in those certain times of need that you may not think. And being able to be a voice for your child even when you don't think you can, by staying active in their lives, by little small things, leaving little notes at home, just making sure you're there and you're present. Like I said, you may not be able to be there physically, but you can be present in multiple ways. You know what I mean? The Dollar Tree has index cards. You can leave a note on the refrigerator that shows something, that just shows that you care. I just say for parents, just make sure you're staying involved and look for resources. If you need resources and you need somebody to help you, I'm here, message me. Like I will help you. Jennifer too, I'm here, I'm down to help. I'm down to help you find the resources you need to help you get where you need to and help your child be where you can have a place.
Right.
There's definitely, even now, I know from the ages of 12 to 24 now, there's a new rec center that just opened up on College Avenue by a Cousin's Wish, and they have a full-blown like arcade and everything for you to come in and gaming system, and it's free of charge. So free of charge. So find people that you can connect with and get those resources to keep your child active, keep your child off the street, keep your child doing things that are keeping them mentally, physically, and emotionally balanced.
So my advice is create an experience for your child, because we're in a materialistic world where they want to give so much to their child. They want to give them a phone. They want to give them a tablet. And I'm not against any of that because my kids had it as well. But provide them an experience, because kids don't always remember what we get for them. They remember what we did together. So sometimes it's like those activities and things like that. Giving them an experience. So like building a gingerbread house. You know, something. It's an experience, and it doesn't have to take a bunch of money. It doesn't mean going across the country. And even if you do those things, but those are things that are going to matter. So and also with parents is be open to listen to your child. There's times that y'all have cat fights, you know, whatever the case may be. But if you realize in that moment that you're wrong, go back and try to repair that relationship with your child, because what ends up happening, because children are underdeveloped, they create narratives. They create narratives in their head that my mom may not like me, my mom doesn't want me. And if you don't come back and repair that and to be able to fill their cup of I do love you, I do appreciate you, if it's always a problem, then guess what? Those are going to be things. So I want parents to be open to listening to their kids and being able to hear their hearts, because that's going to take skill and practice too. So my thing is, and then understanding that even in the heat of the moment, you can too step away. Like, listen, we need to table this, but we need to come back. But don't leave situations unresolved for too long. Give it 24, 48 hours, but come back and say. So I would say that in addition to all that Kenisha said, but that's just my extra takeaway.
My favorite line is when I make TikToks with my son is making memories. Making memories. It goes under every TikTok I post with my kids. Making memories. Those are experiences, like you said, you will never forget. Like,
that's probably my greatest regret at the end with my mom. Is like we didn't get enough photos of the memories that we could, like at the end, you know. So that's what I'm doing now, is giving my kids an experience, creating photos and taking, although I'm photogenic, but I don't always remember to take photos and things. I'm always relying on you.
I know. I got you.
But to create those memories, because I'm so very much present. Like I'm in the moment with these kids, because sometimes being in that moment, that matters. Again, I say, you know, presence and time are things that money can't buy.
Jennifer,
definitely.
Kenisha, thank you for joining us, and we hope this was very productive. This is Bridging the Gap. Bridging the Gap. Co-host, Bishop J. Anthony Dickerson, signing off.